Funny, but I feel like it was maybe 2 hours ago that I was doing the last edition of Things I'd Like to See. We're due for another one already. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, the other two teams in town that I cover are the Penguins and the Pirates, and I offer daily shots on those as well. Steelers versus Chiefs is a 1:02 p.m. kickoff on Christmas Day, which, of course, is tomorrow, which means, we're going to cheat this up a day because, have some time to actually process all of this intensive wisdom. What I'd like to see against the Chiefs, actually more than anything, is the Steelers emerging with good health. Of all the boogeyman scenarios that have been laid out for months now about this 3 games in 11 days gauntlet, the first part, the worst part, has come true to date, which is that they've lost the first 2. But the truth is, to date, nothing's been unusual about it, meaning it was just a Saturday game following a Sunday game. The unusual part is what comes tomorrow. It's the 3rd game in the 11 days. And no outcome could be more devastating than to lose more players. I'll remind, largely because some people seem to have forgotten this, that the Steelers operated without 4 starters on their defense in Baltimore. They also operated without George Pickens. Now, George is expected back. George said so yesterday. There have been other indications internally to that effect as well. Awesome. Great. Be smart. Meaning in terms of managing usage. George doesn't need to be out there for 50 or 60 snaps. He doesn't need to run 50 or 60 deep routes. I'd say something similar regarding TJ Watt, but I know better than that. TJ's going to make himself fully available, and TJ's going to go through whatever he has to go through to be out there as much as he can. I'd like to see, in turn, moonballs. Remember moonballs? They don't have to go to George. They can go to Mike Williams. I don't want to see them necessarily to Calvin Austin. But one thing the Steelers are going to need to do is to back off the Chiefs at the line of scrimmage. They're going to need to create other forms of space for their running backs. Best way to do that is always to spread the defense out. I know why the Steelers got away from the moonballs, but okay, George is back in all likelihood. I would like to see the offensive line show anything remotely resembling an actual stride forward. Yeah, I'm tired of talking about this. You're probably tired of hearing about it. But week after week after week, you keep hoping for that, that eureka moment where the line just gets it and everybody understands what the other guy is supposed to do. And all of this waiting and alleged gelling and chemistry forming that's supposed to be going on, goes on, turns into something. Even when the smallest of steps are taken, it feels like it's 2 steps backward the following week. I expected that to be the case in Philadelphia. I did not expect it to be the case the way it was in Baltimore. I'm going to be real blunt about this. If this doesn't change, and I'm talking about like tomorrow at the latest, because Cincinnati's got that terrible defense and you're not going to know whether they're playing well or not against it, I'm not sure there will be all that much reason to be heavily anticipating the playoffs. Okay? This has to get straightened out. It has to. I'd like to see Patrick Mahomes. Oh, here's another ... from me. What am I supposed to say here? Who's going to stop this guy? Who stops this guy anywhere? In the games that matter the most, the deeper the season goes on, the more damage he and Travis Kelce do. And yet Mahomes is more than Kelce. Mahomes can spread the ball all over creation, and he can do so on merit, not in some forced way. He can make, more than anything else, if you had to condense who and what Mahomes is as a quarterback, he can make any throw. So when he looks around the field, he doesn't see closed doors. He sees nothing but open doors. And that can be so deflating to a defense. And I'd even say something like, go get him, pin your ears back, force him out. But he releases the ball like lightning too. So I actually don't even know what I'd like in that scenario. What I would like to close out this especially exasperated episode of Daily Shot is for everyone involved in this process, all the way to the top. If it's got to be Art Rooney, that's okay too. To ask each other in that building why you signed Pat Freiermuth to that extension if you aren't going to utilize him. Or, here's an idea, utilize him. The only reason I even advocate for the moonballs is as a way of maybe opening up the running game is that I don't believe that they're going to throw to Pat. You could throw to Pat and you could achieve the same thing, and it would be with much more certain results. When we come back, J1Q. This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Today's J1Q comes from Sean on the south side, who says, DK, we're all upset. Pat Freiermuth's targets are down. Is there a chance that this is because he's not getting enough separation? Russell Wilson goes through his progressions. He sees him covered like a blanket, and he moves on. Also, Pat rarely seems to come back to the ball or shake the defender once Russ scrambles. It doesn't seem like Pat has the ability to find and get to the hole in coverage like Travis Kelce can. All right, I'm not putting Pat on the Kelce level, okay? I'm not. Pat wouldn't do that. Kelce is a freak. He's 1 in a million. He's special. He's a football legend. And no, Pat does not get the same separation, does not find the same daylight as Kelce. But he does get separation, and he does find daylight. And the one part of your question that made me cringe at least a little bit was the not coming back, because both he and Russ have been telling me how happy they've been with that component specifically of the offense. It's not just Pat, it's other guys who've been doing a much better job of coming back to Russ. In this game in Baltimore, Connor Hayward did it beautifully. You might remember on that pass up the right sideline. And yeah, the way Arthur Smith, I don't want to say he defended himself. I mean, it's not like he's being accused of something. But the way Smith explained yesterday on the South Side why Freiermuth isn't getting the targets that a lot of us expect is in the spirit of what you're saying. He's saying that Russ goes through his progressions. Russ will see something that he maybe doesn't like. Maybe there's a certain coverage, and then Russ goes another way. And that was Smith's way of saying, yes, he's the primary call a lot more often than you might think, and a lot more than you'd necessarily know by watching the film. So I'm sure some of that applies. I'm also sure that when you catch 50 out of 59 targets, and out of those 50 catches, 26 of them go for a first down, that's a really good ratio of really good things happening when the football does fly in your direction. And all I'm advocating here is for that to happen. That's all. I'm not advocating for him to be treated like Kelce or to hog up all the catches or whatever. I'm advocating for him to be treated like a TE1, like what it was that the Steelers signed him to that extension to be. That's not a super big ask, I would think. Guys, the next episode of this program will be Thursday morning, so I'm going to take this opportunity to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a beautiful, bountiful overall holiday season. And I already know what you want for Christmas, right?